Welcome to Point of Order, our online weekly Wednesday night show where I come on with Sarah Biggs and we talk about the biggest three stories here in Canada, provincially, and sometimes from time to time municipally. Sarah, how are you this fine Wednesday evening?
How are you? I'm good. Long
I,
time no talk.
I know, it feels like it's been, what, a week?
Just a day.
Exactly, just a day. But Sarah, a lot of things have been going on nationally, and this episode is going to be the national show, as we always like to try to ensure that we keep to one topic, but we always seem to dive into a lot more here. But we're going to start off with the big news of the day, and that came out earlier this morning. Inflation. Inflation has hit 7.7%. That is the highest it's been in 30 years. We are all feeling the inflation crunch at the gas pumps, at the grocery store. The finance minister came out earlier this week, kind of reintroduced things that she had already introduced, so there was nothing new on the table.
Yeah.
Is it time for this government, federal government, to actually start pulling their head out of their asses, pardon my French, and start being serious about the inflation issues that are currently affecting Canadians from coast to coast to coast?
Yeah. We're just seeing like these days, crime is going up, everything like grocery bill is just so high. Like a bag of avocados at Costco, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago was $8. Now it's $14. Um, I love my avocados, but not enough to pay $14.99 for a bag. I think it's time to send real relief to Canadians. But I will also, the provincial government has the power to help a little bit, especially with the utility rebates and the gas pump tax. And I'm not a huge fan of their $50 a month for 3 months rebate, nor the tax cut at the pump, because I don't think it helps everyone, because a lot of seniors don't drive. Their utilities are included in their bill. Their rent has not gone up, but everything else has gone up. The food banks are feeling it. Every single charity organization in the country is feeling it right now. Our social resources are even under more strain with everything's happening with the pandemic. And now it's getting even more strain because of inflation. There's other countries, inflation is just absolutely insane. We're one of the very few lucky ones that can say, hey, we haven't reached double digit yet.
But is
Are we
that
going to
something to
get
be proud
there?
of, though? Is that something the government can even be like proud of? Hey, we haven't hit double digits yet. Like, that doesn't seem like a bragging point in my books, does it?
No, well, it depends how they want to spin their squirrel. Um, every talking point seems to be a good talking point these days. So I wouldn't be surprised. And they're going to be like, well, you know what? We are very fortunate right now because of our actions that we're doing. We haven't hit double digits like, other countries. But no, it's not a good talking point. But it could be a possibility that, they might be using this in the next few weeks. We really need some real, the province is going to be, we're estimating a minimum of $10 billion in surpluses. Provincially, hey guys, time to do something. I don't think that giving back $150 to utility companies to give us a rebate on our bill that we've already paid is going to help a whole lot. Some parents had to make a hard decision between summer camp for their kids or paying the $800 utility bill they had to pay last month. Give them some money and let them make the decision of where the money should go. I think that's the approach we should be taking, because just if you do a rough math, if you give $400 per adult in the province, it's going to cost $1.2 billion. We're in the position where we can afford it and offer real direct relief. If no one split it in two and matches with the GST return or the child child benefit or, any federal program, they could tag along and just, piggyback on those programs and just really provide real relief. But there's any real viable solutions right now, between yelling crypto and saying that you want to fire the government of BOC and Justin Trudeau being like, oh, I got COVID, I'm not feeling well.
But I'm gonna go off to
And Christopher,
Rwanda today because that's the
oh,
important thing.
yeah, okay, yeah, because we don't have enough problems here right now. And, maybe there's something going on there. I haven't kept an eye on the agenda of the premiere, but it's time for real solutions. Like, we need to stop trying to entertain those big companies and give them the money and let the government decide where we should be spending our money.
Yeah.
I think that we need more meaningful action, and like we needed it like 2 months ago. This can't keep going. It's ludicrous.
And I could not agree more with you that we need the relief that's coming is not enough. And the relief that needs to come 2 months ago. We are in a situation right now where every day that passes, people are getting further and further behind. People are like not paying their bills because they can't afford it. They have to make decisions between keeping the electricity on or putting food on the table. And there's a lot of people out there right now who are looking to the government because they looked to the government during COVID and saying, help us. Help us try to figure this out because you helped us during COVID. You told us to stay home. We did. And now you're just off in the middle of nowhere doing what you want to do and telling us we're up creek without a paddle. Here's $150 off your next, or $50 off your next 3 months of utility bills. That doesn't cover a lot for a family of 6 who has to fill up their car to go to school. And I know the summer is different, but it's a bad time right now. And the governments, all 3 levels aren't taking it serious, I don't think.
No. It's like, wait, welcome back to 1980. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, but grandma that lives on the main floor in Pine Ridge or wherever pays $1,200 a month of rent, all included. She doesn't drive a car. She's not getting any help. Yeah. But her grocery bill keeps going up.
And on someone on a fixed income who's not getting more money from the government, that hurts them. It's true. And we are in the midst of a leadership race here in the province of Alberta, in the midst of a leadership race federally with the Conservatives. They are talking about it as little as they are because, like you said, cryptocurrency is out and about, but it seems like inflation, because it was the big topic of today, it hasn't been making the waves as much as I thought it would. So maybe in a few weeks, a few months, or a few hours, people will be talking about it. I know you and I aren't going to talk about the UCP leadership race, but I do want to say, just a shameless plug to anyone who's listening to this, who's part of a campaign, talk about inflation. Talk about the people who are struggling right now, because I can guarantee you it's a vote winner. That's just me for you, though. We saw down this... What?
Thanks for the advice.
There you go. My unsolicited advice to you, Sarah, or anyone who's listening. I want to talk about down south, because Joe Biden today announced that he was proposing that the gas tax be suspended for the next few months just to offset some of this increase. Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government has said, that's not on the table. We're not thinking about that. Is that stupid of them not to think about even suspending it for 2-3 months? I know it's a drop in the bucket. But we need real relief right here, right now. Do we not?
At some point, even if you do something that's performative, just fucking do it already.
Yeah.
Brenda in Grand Prairie that makes $15 an hour because she works in, a fast food restaurant or something. Groceries are even higher up there because of the cost of transportation. And I'm going to sound like a super, super conservative right now. But, with the carbon tax that went on, it's 2 cents, right? But we need to remember. So I was looking at the profits from Loblaws yesterday. Their profits are up 40%. So are we dealing with a combination of inflation? A government is not too hot about doing anything because they did so much during COVID. Now we're in the red, deep, deep red. And companies are too money hungry because they suffered for the past 2 years. Would that be the perfect storm right now? I think it is. So the companies are super hungry. The shareholders are hungry. The government's hungry because you know what? Less people work for the past 2 years. So there's less tax base coming in. It's a perfect storm right now that we're seeing. And thank thank God we got daycare under control for a while. Because but even daycares right now, I'm sure they're struggling with food cost. It's everything needs to be reassessed. We need to go to the table. This is not the summer. This is not the summer to sit on our laurels and do nothing about it and just watch it go, because hopefully if we sweep it on the carpet, it's going to go away. It won't.
True.
Like, we need to stop the apathy from the governments right now. And I'm saying governments. The apathy is just so tone deaf.
It is. But it doesn't seem like no one wants to talk about it. It seems like inflation is a losing issue no matter who you are, right? If you're conservative and inflation happens, you're going to lose. If inflation happens, you're a liberal, you're going to lose. So inflation is one of these issues that it affects everyone, and it does not discriminate against a liberal or a conservative or an NDP. You have to wear it.
I was looking at a flight to go to Fort Mac the other day. Fort Mac. $900 round trip. $900 round trip. I'm not last minute. I'm tired, and I'm tired of hearing we got to pull ourselves by bootstraps. So, really, at the end of the day, if you look at pure political science, the theories and all that. We live in the more conservative province, and in a conservative province, you take care of your elders and vulnerables. That's one thing that you do. Yeah. It's not guns, Jesus, and steaks. I'm sorry, people, if I'm offending you right now, but that's just where we're at now.
Yeah.
And I think we have lost the plot, and a lot of things is coming in the way, or there's too many blinders for a lot of people out there that has the power to do something that won't be doing anything. And I'm going to stop here because I'm going to get upset.
No.
And in trouble.
Hey, I would never get you in trouble for saying something on point of order, because it's your point of order and you can say what you want. And in the fashion of every legislative body across this great country, no one will listen to said point of order while they're saying it. So it's what we do best. But people listen to our show, so that's all that matters. Let's turn to the next big topic that has happened this week, and that is RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki. It came out earlier this week that she might have pressured the Nova Scotia RCMP during the 2020 mass shootings to release the information around the guns that were used by the murderer. And I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to give them a time or day, but to release the information around the guns to advance Justin Trudeau and the Liberals' gun policy when it came to this gun registration. Bill Blair, the then emergency preparedness minister, now public safety minister, now emergency preparedness, says, no, there was no collusion. There was nothing that we did not talk to each other. I never gave the nod to do this. This is all fake. Usually when a liberal says it's fake, it's true. And then it comes out in about 3 weeks that it will actually be true. So Sarah, first initial reactions, because this is still developing story. We still don't know the full details. Does this put a black mark on the RCMP nationally when it comes to addressing issues around what policies are being put in by the government?
So here's the thing. Their last, and I'm gonna sound like a conservative again. Oh my goodness.
Two times in a
You
row.
know,
What's this all about, Sarah? Come on. It's like I love you and you're truly being yourself around me again.
I have a fever. The gun discussion is extremely complicated. We're watching what's going on in the States. It's heartbreaking. There's what, 477 shootings since the beginning of the year. We're not the US, but we are starting to see the kind of unrest that is happening in the US right now. And, if you take everything, well, okay, so if you look at drug use, mental health access, mental health services access, just medical access and all that. Um, you know, uh, in Canada, we've been lucky enough. So I can remember one, two, three. Well, okay, so I'm from Quebec. I remember Polytechnic extremely well. I was 6 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember Concordia with Valerie Fabricant. I remember this extremely, extremely, extremely well. And I remember Dawson College back in 2006. I remember all of them. But we are fortunate enough, and please don't get me wrong here. Like those things should never happen. Those things should never, ever, ever happen. We have a very stringent background check and registration processes to ensure that the individuals that acquire firearms are safe to operate them, safe to own them, responsible enough to make the right decision to put them away in the lock, in the safe. But we are seeing right now that there's a lot of unrest in the country, banning handguns. They might have their idea. Do I think it was a good idea? Absolutely not. Like, why? What is it going to change? Can you name me how many people died of handgun the past few weeks?
In Canada, no. And even in the States, so I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I don't
Well,
know.
this is not, but I'm talking in Canada. Those kind of policies are not tackling the issues. Have a more stringent process when, you know, when someone's purchasing a gun. Do a more thorough background check. Make sure, scrub it if you want. Just, go through everything. Make it more difficult to get a firearm. But should we ban the right for a citizen to have a firearm, or only certain privileged ones? I don't think so. Is it going to change something? No, because the black market's just gonna go. That's the thing. It does not tackle down the gun black market. And that's really where we need to hit. Oh my God, I'm sounding like such a conservative right now.
And this is
What
where
is
my former liberal is going to come out here for a few seconds here. I agree with
yeah.
you. I'm going to agree with you on the majority of that. Where I draw the line is no one should need an assault rifle for hunting.
No, I'm not talking about assault rifles here.
I know, but I'm just saying when it comes to the gun ban, understandable people are very passionate about this issue. And if you want to send me your strongly worded emails, send them to crossborderphotography@gmail.com and I'll file them in the appropriate location. I don't think people should be should be able to acquire a grenade launcher. I know it's not possible here in Canada, but it shouldn't happen. I think that we do need to take some measures. The measures that this government has taken might have been a little bit political around the timing of the. Go ahead.
Performative.
Exactly.
You don't need an AR-15 to go shoot. I was going to say Bambi, but you Sorry, guys. You don't need an AR-15 to go hunt the mountains if you're going to, hunt mountain mutton or, a bighorn or something. Or if you're going to, hunt whitetails and Saskatchewan, you don't need an AR-15. Why would you need an AR-15? No, we're talking like hunting guns and handguns here. Like, no, but I agree with you. Like, it should be, yeah, we're lucky enough to be in somewhat still peaceful country.
Yeah.
And what we had was working so far. Why anger everyone? Why? Why touch something when it's not broken and it's working?
Yeah.
Do they have some special information from somewhere that we don't know?
Well, I've heard on numerous occasions through different people very much smarter than me, and I don't know their exact name, so I can't source who said this, but I think actually it was Chantal Herbet. Herbet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read her article, and this week, I think it was on Sunday, it came out, and she said the Justin Trudeau government has lost its sway. Right? It does not know what it needs to get done. And usually third term governments have this happen. Harper had it happen. By the third term, you're going, what do I throw out there? I know we're straying far from what my original question was around the commissioner and the RCMP, but it wraps it up of the Liberals and under Justin Trudeau, they don't miss an opportunity to make something political, I find. And I
But
find
no one is. No one is though. And that's what's so broken with politics right now. Everybody's using everything as a goddamn political football to try to get brownie points.
yeah,
And it needs to stop.
thank you.
You lost your sway, put yourself on a side, give the reins to someone else and go retire.
Yeah.
It's not sun and waves, sunshine, lollipop, and rainbows anymore. It's like, holy crap, we're seeing the CPC right now in disarray, and we're seeing the Liberals being like, well, we love our leader. So what do we need to do? Like, we need to stop using everything as a goddamn political football. It's making me sick. Like, we need to stop. We need to start. At the end of the day, we lost the plot because a lot of people forget who they work for and who pays their salaries.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you have the pleasure to serve as a councillor or mayor of MLA or a
MP
député
or
or
whatever, yeah.
whatever, MPP, you are serving the people of the province, not only the ones that got you there. And we have lost the plot on that. A government is supposed to help everyone, even the breaking news, even the ones that disagree with you. You need to work with them because you are the one looking after the public purse, and you got to make sure that everything's going smoothly for everyone, not just a very special group.
So
and that's where we've lost the plot here. Sorry, rant over.
No, I want to jump on that rant because this is the sandbox I have played in a lot over the last year and a half when I started this show. During the municipal council elections here in Calgary, I had numerous council candidates and school board trustee candidates on the show, and I had the exact same question lined up for them, and it's the exact same question, breaking news for any UCP candidate, leadership candidate who's coming on my show, and as of right now, we have 5 confirmed that they're appearing, and they are going to be here. This is for everyone who listens, and Sarah, you can take your ears. The one question I will be asking them, and this is a question I asked to every municipal councillor and MP candidate during the last federal election, is how do you balance the people who vote for you against the people who didn't? Because you are there to represent everyone. So how do you ensure while you're in office, you represent everyone and not just the people who voted for you? And that gives me an understanding of where they're going to talk about, because I've heard the political speeches, I've heard the scripted answers, and I've heard the honest answers, and I'm looking for the honest answer. I'm looking for the answers that say, you know what, I may not agree with the NDP or the Liberals or the UCP, but they're Albertans. They're Albertans just like you and I are. So I'm going I'm going to govern for them, just like I'm going to govern for myself. So there's, for then anyone who's about to tune in starting next week to all my live shows with the UCP candidates, that's one question that I'll be giving away right off the top of the interview, to ask them how are they going to represent everyone and not just their party. Moving on, because Sarah is getting a little bit discomfort about talking about UCP, and I don't want to put her into an awkward position. So
Sorry, I got distracted.
the last area I want to talk about, and this is a short episode today because Sarah's been working around the clock, and we don't want to keep her too busy.
Okay, well, you have time. It's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. I like to hear that. I want to talk about Freedom Convoy 2.0. There have been reports, and yet again, I'm taking every report with a fine-tooth comb here. There are reports that truckers are getting ready to gear up to hit Ottawa for the July 1st long weekend, Canada Day. We all saw how that turned out the last time. The Emergencies Act was invoked. People were cleared. Kids were involved. There were saunas and hot tubs involved. It honestly looked like a Canada Day celebration, but a Freedom Convoy celebration. Sarah, without putting you into a corner here, what's your thoughts on this proposed or this alleged Freedom Convoy 2.0 that is moving west to Ottawa this next weekend?
So let me ask you this. With everything that has changed with restrictions for the past while, what do we have left to protest? We don't have to isolate anymore. Roger from I don't know, Rogers Pass can go to Mexico now. He's fine. He's cleared to fly if he's not vaccinated. Everybody can take trains. Everybody can fly across the country. There's no vaccine mandates anymore, not even for federal employees. All of that has been removed. And one of the reasons why it was implemented is what it was to try to get somewhat of a little bit more solid herd immunity and protect our vulnerable population. We have lost the plot as a country and as citizens when we're seeing that our MPs are being given panic buttons. We are a country that always pride ourselves with peace, capability of negotiating, peaceful protest, because before that, the G20 in Toronto was a little spicy. There's a few events that have happened. It's Nitsuit and all that. But at the end of the day, we have, the last time I can see something of that as big as the FLQ in 1977 with Pierre Laporte.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to be willing to overthrow government.
It's another to.
But it's another to attempt and to threaten people, and to threaten families, and to, there's a lot of people tonight. There's a lot of political operatives tonight, and they're like, what the hell are we doing now? It's extremely, it's becoming so intense. Back in the day, we would see the Minister of Defense walking on by market 11 o'clock at night, carrying his jacket on his back, alone. Can you please tell me if that we see this happening anymore? No. Yeah,
Is this the spillover effect? Is this the American spillover effect that we are seeing, a more divided America? And the running joke back when I was growing up was, whatever happens in America usually takes about 3 or 4 years to come here to Canada, whether it be TV shows or politics. I hope not either. But you and I are smart people, Sarah. Let's call this what it is.
I'm extremely worried right now. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been, I'm a new, well, you know me, I always know what's happening everywhere. Like, yeah, that's what I do for a living, right? But when you're at the point where you're advising on communication language in regards to certain incidents, and you need to take in consideration the ripple effect of your words or of your positions, it's not fun.
Yeah.
No one should have to go through that.
No one should
No
have
one
to
should,
go ahead.
no one should be scared to put a policy forward because they strongly believe that is to better the country or the province. Protest as much as you want. Go smoke joints on Parliament Hill. I don't care. But when there's reports like this, and our highest, CSIS, RCMP, everybody's on high alert right now. What are we doing? And we're talking about a minority here. We're not even talking about, a majority of Canadians. But the misinformation out there, I hope it's not the tipping point that we're going to see next week. I really hope we will not be experiencing that, because that is something that I'm not. There's a lot of people that are not ready for what could happen. We're seeing Tamara Lynch being incensed in Ontario as a hero. Pat King seems like he's not liking Jill that much. But
I
we shouldn't have to hide.
no, and
To
I and that's why.
better.
And I've always said this, and you've heard me say this numerous times over and over again. I think it started with the rise of social media. People don't want to hear the other side of the story anymore. And the online hate that I get on a regular basis when I have the leader of the Christian Heritage Party on, the leader of the People's Party of Canada on, while we may not agree 100% with their policies or platforms, they're still Canadians, for God's sakes. Like, we're like, if we're truly a Christian society, which everyone seems to think we are, the Bible teaches you do unto, like, don't covet thy neighbor's ass. Like, don't assume that everyone is going to think your way. They're not. And I this show in this segment, this has gotten into a really heavy situation here, Sarah. You and I talking about this, but I want people to remember we all bleed red when we get poked. It's not like anything matters at the end of the day more than respecting each other. I'll respect you when you respect me. When I get hate mail from people for having people on my show, or when I get hate mail for talking about issues that someone doesn't want me to talk about, I have to respectfully decline your judgment of me, because you don't have to listen to things. You don't have to be there. You can turn things off. And I feel like we don't do that. We want to know what's happening 24/7. I find that Canadians are in such a disarray right now that it's hurting our society. And I tell everyone at the end of every episode, get off social media and go have a conversation with somebody. Like we did in the 90s. For God's sakes, people, just talk. Stop tweeting.
Look, we're all tired.
Yeah.
We're all exhausted. We all work our butt off. We've been stuck with our family for, it's been family day every day since March 2020. We're all tired. We've all been through so much. And we need time to heal. But will we be able to heal if the people that do not believe in science and into proper messaging think there was a hoax since day one? And that is quite upsetting. If you want to say 19 vaccines, polio is coming back. What are they gonna say now? Like, oh, it's been planted in England? Like, come on, guys. We need to give our head a shake. The flying spaghetti monster does not exist. COVID is real. Vaccine saves lives. And the reason why you probably have not died from, like, I don't know, chicken pox or something else, it's because you were vaccinated when you were a kid. And we forget that. The reason why you didn't get mumps,
Yep.
mumps, yeah, it's because you were vaccinated. Kids nowadays, they get varicella. Vaccines. Fox says, we're at the point now where we have vaccine that can prevent cancer. Why are we where we are today? And a lot of those people, I would, sorry, it's just,
No,
it's
understandable.
heavy. And I'm living it right now, and I'm seeing it, and I'm right in the thick of it. And it's hard.
This is not how the point of order usually goes. We usually talk about politics, but I love when you and I have these deep, philosophy, just deep conversations about everything. But I want to ask: can we heal? Can we be like? I don't ever remember us being this divided than we are right now. Can we ever get back to a moment where we don't see our neighbor as someone who might try to hurt us or doesn't believe in science or is might be a separatist or might be someone who isn't really a true Albertan or a Canadian and someone who's come here from Canada? Is there ever a point of time, do you think, that we could ever heal and just be Canadians again? Whether it be a Canadian from Alberta, whether it be a Canadian who has been here since the land was first formed, whether it be a Canadian who arrived here on the shores of Vancouver and moved to Calgary from India. Can we not just be Canadians again?
I think we can be, but it's going to take a lot of political cojones to get it done. It's not going to be easy. Someone has to do it for the common good. Do I want my daughters to grow up in that? Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
There's no parents that would like to see their kids growing up in that kind of environment right now. No one should have to be scared because they decide to wear a mask, because they're going to get bullied and yelled at in the parking lot, because someone saw on Facebook that masks were reducing your CO2. I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm usually able to keep my head pretty clear of, those issues. And I'm pretty like, oh yeah, no, it's going to pass. But in order for change to happen, we're going to have to, and I'm not pushing my candidate right now or anything. I'm just saying that we need to have a hard look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves if we want our kids growing up and see and tell their kids in 50 years how fucking stupid we were in 2022 when we had everything, when we had support from government, when there was a pandemic, the government was there. It was not enough, but maybe we had too much as a society. There's a lot of life choices that we need to take in consideration, that we need to reconsider. I really wish I had an easy answer for you, and it's an emotional one for me because I'm worried. And we're all, all the strategists out there, everyone running a campaign, we're all looking at messaging right now, and we're trying to figure out how to do it right. And we shouldn't have to discuss some subject for 3 days and try to figure out language because we're worried we're going to be offending someone.
But
let's put it that way.
welcome to 2022. Even if Go ahead.
We don't have the freedom of speech anymore because some people get offended way too easily, and we are not able to have a personal or political opinion anymore because it does not fit their narrative. I'll leave
I
it at that.
I would not agree with you. I would not have you on the show if I did not agree with you on the majority of issues, Sarah, and this is one of them. I will say this. We have politicians have panic buttons now. We have politicians, we have candidates, we have people who are afraid to talk because they're afraid that they're going to put their foot in their mouth. And anyone who's listened to this show knows that I've put my foot in my mouth a few thousand times when it comes to getting things wrong. But I correct myself and I try to be honest to my viewers and to my listeners that I don't get things right all the time. And I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to sit back and learn. We need that mentality in this world now. While it's great that we all have opinions and we all have the ability to show everyone our opinions via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, TikTok, or whatever you want to call it, we need to have a serious conversation about not even, and I hate to use Joe Biden as the Joe Biden's motto during the last presidential election, but the soul of our country is on the line here. Because if we do not smarten up and we do not figure out where we are or who we are as a country and as a nation, as a province, as a city, we're screwed. And our next generation is screwed. And we're going to be even more divided than we are now. And hopefully that doesn't start with what happened in January this year. Hopefully our leadership, whether it be Jean Charest, whether it be Pierre Poilievre, whether it be Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, whether it be any of the UCP leadership candidates here in Alberta, whether it be the mayor, Jody Gondek, we need to have a serious conversation of the soul of our country, the soul of our province, and the soul of our city to figure out who we are as a people, and then we can start healing. Because until we know what that is, we're just going to keep on fighting like there's no tomorrow.
And see, and please don't get me wrong, I'm all for peaceful protests. I'm all for it. Protest as much as you want, sing kumbaya as much as you want, drink kombucha, drink beer. I don't care.
But
But
yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Sarah, we have gotten into some heavy shit tonight, and it has been a wonderful 45 minutes of chatting with you as always. I always look forward to our Wednesday night chats because I never know how they're going to go. And tonight is the quintessential example of how Sarah and Chris are friends and how we can just have a conversation about inflation and end up talking about the soul of the nation. So, Sarah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being with us again. We'll be back. I'm not sure if we're going to be back next week because we have some live episodes with some UCP candidates all next week. So
I might, which I'm participating.
Yep. So Sarah might not be with us next week because we might have a leadership candidate. We are starting off Monday with Mayor Bill Rock. He will be on with us at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So tune in for that great episode via YouTube, and it'll be streamed on all the audio platforms the week after. So please tune in. And then every day that following week, we have a few other candidates coming in. We're just confirming up who's going to be which day. Sarah's just got her earbuds in, so she doesn't know what I'm talking about right now. So with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, for listening, and we'll be back for another great edition of Point of Order in the future. But we'll be back Monday with another great episode as well. But we'll be back tomorrow as well for another episode if you're listening to this live right now. Talk to you later, guys.